So in this video, I'm going to quickly go through what this quiz covered and what you should have done and what the correct answer was. First of all, you better put your name in. A lot of you forgot to put this in, so if they have a space for your name, put it in, and also the appropriate period. Some of you deleted these images, just a few of you luckily. So I said type the answers below the images, do not delete them. Take your time and type the full answer. So that means you would have gone here, even up with this thing, and then hit return. Okay, let's take a look at this. What needs to be done in the hierarchy to make this correct? Well, anytime we name an object in a game, we have to name it. So that means we don't let it be called plane or cube, even though that's what they are. We rename them. So you would have renamed this to ground, player, or whatever you wanted to call it, but you would not have let it remain as being plane and cube. So rename your objects as soon as you create them, right up here. So we always got to have a name inside there. That's the first one. Number two, you should all know this. What are these? Not what is this one. What are these objects called? Okay, and they are called folders. Not files like some of you put, but they're called folders. So right click, create, folder, they're folders, not files. So the first two were pretty easy. Would have put folders right down there. Now this one, yeah, we're starting to get into programming, so you could say it was a little bit hard, but not that hard. We are creating a variable here. So if we look at our game, any one of these will do. So if we're going to create a variable, we have to have it defined before the game starts. It's got to be before void start, and it's got to be right after that first curly bracket. So this is when we're going to tell the computer to remember everything that this encompasses by us just typing speed. So we're going to type speed. The computer's going to remember everything every time we type it. We don't want to keep typing all this down there. So we're going to give the computer a definition like a mailbox. So every time it sees speed, it's going to go back and look it up and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. It's going to be controlled in the game, decimal, etc. So we just have to type speed after that. So if the computer's going to memorize it before the game even starts. So all your variables are before void start and after this first curly bracket. And speaking of which, let's look at our last question. So this would mean moving this up here. I didn't do any movement. I didn't do any transform, translate. This was just defining the variable to start off. But it's got to go up there. And then the last one was, so let's go back to it, public float speed. So public, number one, controlled in the game so that you can see it in the game. So that you can control it here, public variable. Float is the computer term for a decimal, so we can use a decimal number. Speed is the variable name. We make that up, so that's the name of the variable. And of course, this is the decimal. And if we're having a decimal, it's got to have an F there. It's got to have an F. So you define all of those. Public, controlled in the game, float, computer term for using a decimal. This is the variable that we made up, and this is the floating point decimal here. So that's what I'm looking for in the quiz. They're going to get a little bit harder. So, and the thing is with programming or gaming, either you know it or you don't. So if you missed the quiz, the first quiz, no reason to panic, but we will retake it if you didn't do well, and now you know what I'm looking for as we do these quizzes.